You're standing at the edge of an endless sea. Behind you, the sound of thunder, not from the sky, but from chariots, horses, and soldiers closing in fast. In front of you, water stretches as far as you can see. No bridge, no boat, no way out. Fear rises like a storm. And then someone says, "Move forward." This is the moment the Israelites faced at the Red Sea, but it's more than just an ancient escape story. It is a masterclass in what happens when fear collides with faith, and the twist is that it was never just about survival. It was about transformation. The Israelites had finally walked free after centuries of slavery in Egypt. The 10 plagues were over, Pharaoh had relented, and an entire nation was on the move. They followed a mysterious guide, a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. Then something strange happened. Instead of leading them on the quickest route, God directed them toward a dead end. They camped by the Red Sea, and at that exact moment Pharaoh changed his mind. His army trained, armed, and furious marched to bring them back. Here's the twist. This detour was not an accident. They were not lost, they were led. Sometimes the most frightening dead ends are actually intentional setups. Picture the scene. Families clutching their children. Elders asking, "Why did you bring us here to die?" Soldiers without weapons staring helplessly at the water. The panic was contagious. Fear is like that. It spreads fast, louder than reason, heavier than hope. But here's the deeper layer. Fear is not always the enemy. Fear can become the doorway to faith. It's the point where our strength ends and something greater begins. Faith isn't pretending fear doesn't exist. It's choosing to move anyway. Now imagine Moses, a man who had fled Egypt as a fugitive, now leading millions with nothing but a staff and a promise. The people are shouting, the army is coming, and the sea is in the way. What does he say? Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord? Stand still? That sounds crazy when your life is on the line. But the next moment changes everything. God says to Moses, "Why are you crying to me? Tell the people to move forward. Move forward into the sea." Faith sometimes sounds illogical. It asks you to step when there is no visible path. Moses raises his staff, the wind howls, and something extraordinary happens. The sea splits. Walls of water stand tall on each side, and a dry path stretches out. The Israelites begin to walk, one step at a time, through the heart of the impossible. Imagine the sound of the wind, the spray of water, the wide eyes of children seeing fish swimming beside them. Fear didn't disappear, it transformed into awe. The twist most people miss? The Red Sea was not just about escaping Pharaoh. It was about entering a new level of trust. The water was not just a barrier removed. It was a stage set for faith to become visible. Pharaoh's army charges into the same path. They had confidence, but not faith. The same sea that opened for God's people became a trap for their enemies. When the last Israelite stepped onto the far shore, the waters collapsed, bearing chariots, horses, and soldiers. The greatest threat they had ever faced was erased in one moment. We all face Red Seas. Maybe it's a diagnosis, a debt, a failing business, or a fractured relationship. You feel trapped fear behind you, no way forward. But what if your dead end is actually the perfect stage for a breakthrough? Faith doesn't always remove the obstacle. Sometimes it parts it. And sometimes the sea doesn't open until you take the first step. Once safe, The Israelites didn't just breathe relief, they sang. Miriam led the women in dance and music. Why? Because victory should be remembered. Fear had shouted, but faith had the final word. The Red Sea story isn't just about an ancient miracle. It's about the choice we all face when life corners us. Fear says, it's over. Faith says, watch this. The real twist is that God doesn't just remove fear, He transforms it into testimony. Subscribe, share, like, and stay tuned. So when you feel trapped, remember, sometimes the sea doesn't part until you move. May your fear give way to faith, and your steps lead straight through the impossible.